deep into the playoff action here on the SRN with Ohio Sim Racing's Xfinity Drivers, the Premier League, as they take on Kansas here. Hello, I am Sean Fitz alongside producer John Long. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Well, for what will be an exciting race, the round of 8 underway here at Kansas. Let's take a quick look at the playoff picture as it sits right now. We pull up that graphic, and it looks like it's going to be a tight run all the way down to the final 4 here. Phillip Ellis, Richard Lucky, Kyle Finlayson, Brandon Thomas, Wes Gilliland, Aaron Jackson, Gary Williams, and Britt Van Meter, all in the round of 8. Last week, we saw Connor Hale, who was in a fight for the regular season points for 13th there, put on an impressive show at the Roval. But tonight, we're going to see these drivers really take on this racetrack here at Kansas, and who's going to point their way in, who's going to win their way in, and who's going to have to be fighting for points. We're going to find out here in just over an hour or so. 100 laps here at Kansas. Take a quick look at the qualifying order before we get started here tonight. Connor Hale, your pole sitter, up front once again tonight. Brad Herman starting P2. I believe he's going to be going to the back. Phillip Ellis is going to be 3rd. Jason Harrison 4th. Brandon Thomas is going to round out the top 5. Chris Lucky, Richard Lucky, Chris Hockley is going to start 8th tonight. Eric Myers, Kyle Finlayson rounding out the top 10. A playoff driver, Wes Gilliland, going to start 11th. Steve Schoaf 12th. Britt Van Meter, Aaron Jackson, Gregory Valade is going to round out the top 16. 21 drivers getting ready to take on the racetrack here at Kansas. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. You see Brad Herman had to go to the back. As we get things cleaned up, Jason Harrison's going to inherit that front row spot. And green flag is out for 100 laps of playoff action right here on the SRN. They get settled in as Connor Hale leads through turn 1 and 2. Again, that driver put on a heck of a show last week at the Roval, dominating the field. Trying to make it 2 in a row here as Chris Lucky moves up to 2nd. Phillip Ellis, that playoff driver's in 3rd right now. He would really like to win his way in tonight. Jason Harrison currently running 4th. And Richard Lucky, a driver that we suspect is going to be in the final 4. As we head on down to Phoenix here in just a few short weeks, he's currently running 5th. In the early going. A little bit of a fight here for P2. Phillip Ellis rocking that outside line. That worked for a lot of these drivers early, as you see mostly single file. See a couple cars into the wall outside of turn 4. Everybody keeps it rolling as Phillip Ellis is in hot pursuit of Connor Hale. Connor last Wednesday at the Roval had Richard Lucky right at about the same distance when Richard performed had a mistake rather on the backstretch through the chicane, unlike Richard Lucky, and nonetheless he was able to pull away as Richard really wrecked the car. It ended up retiring, not getting the finish he was looking for. Connor Hale looking to make it 2 for 2, but Phillip Ellis alongside tried to have something to say about that. Looking a little bit further back, Chris Hockley has worked his way up to P5 so far tonight. Jason Harrison, Kyle Finlayson slide back. See Brandon Thomas, another driver in the playoffs here, would like to really work his way forward if he could. He does have some lofty plans for Martinsville. So even if he doesn't work his way in, he feels like he's the driver to beat at Martinsville. In the meantime, Aaron Jackson right behind him. This is the night Aaron needs right here. He needs to shine and walk away here with a really solid finish. And even better, a victory. This racetrack kind of lends to Aaron Jackson's racing style. And he needs to get out front early and try to control the narrative of this race for the next couple weeks. Headed to tracks like Martinsville that Aaron will not, as he mentions every week, just not a fan of. You see him looking underneath Brandon Thomas there. In the meantime, here comes Brad Herman, who had to start in the rear due to an EOL at the beginning of the race. Settled in right there behind Brandon Thomas for 13th. In the meantime, Connor Hill has been able to hold off Philip Ellis right now by about a car length as they get ready to roll down the front stretch here at Kansas. Again, 100 laps here tonight. These drivers are qualifying in about a 30-second time range here. During the truck race on Monday, an outside line was fairly dominant. We saw a little bit of tire strategy come into play. And we're starting to see that top line in these Xfinity cars will be the place to be here in the early going. A little bit of a fight back here. Steve Whitmore, Gary Williams side by side. This is further back in the field. Around 17th or 18th, Williams looking underneath. Whitmore's going to come up. They nearly make contact. Whitmore just barely keeps it off the wall. As you see the 98 of Eric Myers looking underneath Ryan Pelfrey, that driver missing the playoff, missing the cutoff to the round of 8 by 1 point last week. That was a hard pill for that driver to swallow as we were talking after the Roval. Several mistakes just leading to that shortcoming, just 1 point from moving forward. As I mentioned, Aaron Jackson really wants to take this opportunity to move forward. He's riding that high side right now. You're going to see him get a little bit of a run here on Steve Schoaf. Ducking down on the bottom. Trying to get clear of Schoaf. Here comes Brad Herman as well. Both those drivers get clear as Jackson works his way forward. In the meantime, a little bit of a contention here, led by Chris Lucky, Chris Hockley, and Kyle Finlayson. Kyle, another one of those drivers in the round of 8 here. Just needs to come in and have a clean race. We are going to have at least one driver point in. So points will matter. And Philip Ellis out front once again, contesting that lead with Connor Hill. About a car length back in the meantime. Richard Lucky is in the picture now. He's going to look underneath Philip Ellis. Those two drivers, Lucky and Ellis, have been fighting all season long. They're in the round of 8. As Ellis, gets into the wall. Lucky's gonna look underneath. Get by, he's gonna bring his brother Chris with him. I don't think Chris is gonna get quite clear. Ellis just carrying a little too much speed in there. Drove into the corner second. It's coming out fourth. Richard Lucky on the move now, on his way after Connor Hill. These two were bumper to bumper just last week, about midway through the Roval. And Richard found those dreaded turtles there at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That car went flying through the chicane on the backstretch and ultimately had to retire that machine. Again, a mistake Richard Lucky doesn't typically make here. He's looking for a redo. We look on back, Brad Herman, again, that driver was really fast during practice. Qualified outside pole. Had to go to the rear for an EOL. Already worked his way back up to 9th. So he got by Jason Ayrson. Ayrson fighting with Ryan Pelfrey on the high side there. And the 98 of Eric Myers. The track's a lot different than it was on Monday night. Under the lights here at Kansas, some of these drivers that are pulling double duty, this track probably does not feel the same to them. A little bit cooler track conditions. We're going to pay close attention here to the lap times as they come across the stripe this next time by. And Richard Lucky, 1/10 faster than Connor Hale. Richard, I've never seen a driver be able to do it with such precision. Drive one of these cars right to the edge. He's able to maintain lap times. He knows exactly what he needs to do each and every lap to make it to point B on tire wear. He is the king of saving and pushing the car at the right times and pacing himself over a long run. 17 laps into this tonight, we did see on Monday night tires are going to be critical. Tire strategy came into play. And I imagine with a little bit more grip on the track, they'll be even more important here tonight. As the 3 lap times already fallen off nearly a second and a half over the last 18 laps. Wes Gilliland, another driver in the round of 8, looking to advance forward. Currently running 6th. Wes and his business deserves a shout out. Gilliland Body Works, or body shop there, sponsoring part of the season with the SRN and OSR. We appreciate them stepping up and being proud partners and allowing OSR to roll through the second half of the Xfinity season worry-free here. Aaron Jackson, we spoke about it earlier, on the move. This is going to be his night here to get it done. He needs a solid top 5, and he really needs to find a way to win tonight. Aaron will tell you that he has very few tracks on the iRacing service he feels confident and comfortable at. While Kansas isn't one of them, it is a style that he can run pretty well. I believe he got into the wall a little bit there as we say that, but we know moving forward here, going to Texas, and then on to Martinsville, that is not going to play into the 012's hands. So he wants to do everything he can to lock his spot in tonight. We look up front here, Richard Lucky just hanging on to the bumper here of Connor Hale. No point in being too aggressive so far tonight. Lap 21 into 100 here. Nearing the halfway point of a fuel run. Richard just pushing the car where he needs to as he's going to really get to the bumper here, a quarter exit. Hale's going to have the RPM, but Lucky really had the drive off. Was able to narrow that gap just a little bit. This is typical Richard Lucky, just pacing himself. Just a couple car lengths off that leader's bumper. In the meantime, Philip Ellis has been able to hold off, or was able to get by rather, and hold off Chris Lucky. After making contact with the wall, he's moved back up to 3rd. Looking on back here a little bit, Brandon Thomas on the bumper of Jason Ayrson. Talked to Brandon last week. He really feels like he has got a shot at bringing home the victory at Martinsville. That's his style of track. He loves short tracks. As long as he can keep that car clean, that'll be where he shines, he feels. But obviously, any points will help. Anything he could do to advance his spot in the round of 4, in the championship 4, is gonna help him. Remember, we've only got 2 more races after tonight. We've got Texas and Martinsville, so at least one driver is gonna point their way in. That's if we do not, or that's if we see playoff drivers win each of those 3 races. But that may not necessarily be the case. Connor Hill out front so far tonight for all the laps here on lap 25, leading solidly. Richard Lucky behind him. O'Connor having a little bit of connection issue there. But he could be here to disrupt this whole process and take away a win and you're in opportunity for one of the playoff drivers as they work through the next 2 weeks. We look a little bit further back there. That's Ryan Pelfrey working around Aaron Jackson. Aaron's going to fall back onto 8th here as Pelfrey gets by. Pelfrey, not a whole lot to lose. He's ready to just drive the wheels off that 99 machine and bring home any victories he can here over the next couple weeks with the OSR. Brandon Thomas looking underneath Jason Harrison. I believe that's Eric Myers there in front of it. It is. Not a whole lot of crazy going on the track here. Everybody's single filed out. Brad Herman in pursuit of Kyle Finlayson. A very quiet run for Finlayson right now as he's running in the top 5. And a driver exiting pit road. That was Gary Williams coming off pit road. Steve Schoaf also coming off a pit road here. Oh, looks like he may have made contact with the wall. Right rear damage on that machine. Oh, we look out front. We've got a new leader. Richard Lucky able to get by Connor Hill. As Richard Lucky sets sail here. Those 2 drivers again leading early last week at the Roval. Out front yet again, you see Connor really having a great drive through the front stretch. Lucky back down on the bottom. Trying to hold him off, but Connor Hill is there again. Side, he's going to get clear. Richard's going to fall back to 2nd place, and Connor Hill is going to retake the lead here on lap 30. These cars progressively changing. 30 laps so far of green flag racing on those tires. As the track continues to cool down, these cars continue to get lighter as well. As they work through this fuel run, which we are well past halfway. Brad Herman right here on the bumper of Ryan Pelfrey. This is going to be good for 6th place rather. Again, Herman had to start in the rear of the field tonight after qualifying 2nd. Marching his way up here. He's looking for an opportunity to come down pit road, I'm sure, and eager for some new tires. Unlike the Truck Series that runs on Monday night, these drivers do not have a tire limit. They can run as many sets of tires as they want throughout a race, but we're caution free so far through 33 laps. As we work our way around this racetrack here at Kansas, I can't think of anybody better to ride on board. Let's take a lap or two around Kansas on board that 41 machine of Richard Lucky. You see that right front damage as we rode on board Richard Lucky, and that car looks like he is tighter than he probably wants to be. Potential contact into the wall for the 41. Be affecting the way that car is driving here tonight. Again, everybody mostly single filed out right now. Top 5 drivers, 3 of them are in the round of 8 and looking to advance. Next week will be the fast-paced Texas Motor Speedway 2-mile super speedway. Track's going to be really loose, or there's going to be not a whole lot of grip and a lot of high-speed action here for these drivers. That'll kick off starting on Monday night, as the OSR trucks brought to you by Mosquito Ranger take on Texas 9 Eastern, 8 Central right here on the SRN, as we're going to carry OSR all the way down to the championship race at Phoenix in just a few short weeks. Gary Williams, Steve Show for the only drivers a lap down right now. Next driver to potentially go a lap down will be Gregory Valade. As Connor Hill's setting a blistering pace around this track now, 38 laps into this run. Lap times of nearing the 2-second mark, a fall off based on the best lap of these drivers so far tonight. Oh, Finlayson's going to get into the wall right there as Ryan Pelfrey's going to make his way by. Brad Herman's going to try to take the outside as well. Finlayson looked like he made contact. He may have not have, but he really got tight and scrubbed up the track. Ryan Pelfrey still on the outside there trying to tow along Brad Herman. Again, Herman, that driver who had started in the rear of the field earlier tonight, has worked his way up to 6th. And at this point, I'm sure looking for a new set of tires to go on that 85 Ford Mustang. We were talking about him just a moment ago. Gregory Valade now down on pit road taking service. This is going to put him on a time advantage against our leader of Connor Hill. I doubt he'll be able to unlap himself here, but it'll certainly put him on the right side of tires for the next 5 laps or so, hoping for a caution. Richard Lucky has fallen back to nearly 2 seconds a lap, or 2 seconds gap now, back from Connor Hill. We very well could be seeing last week's race reincarnated with Richard Lucky having that right front damage. I believe that could be affecting the handling of that 41 car, as Richard came up there pretty quick and then just had to have gotten into the wall. We've seen him make a very similar mistake at the Roval last week. Again, trying to get by Connor Hill, your leader. In the meantime, Chris Lucky has also been able to get by old Philip Ellis. Ellis is going to fall back to 4th. This fight for 5th here is about a 4-car battle. They are single filed out, but they've been working around each other a good bit. Led by Brad Herman, he's trying to break away. And you see Ryan Pelfrey there in the mix. Gary Williams there, he's a lap down car, also trying to get by Pelfrey. In the meantime, Kyle Finlayson falling back to 7th. Aaron Jackson is currently running 8th right now. Jason Harrison 9th, as you see a freshly tired Gregory Vlade sneak under him, and Wes Gilland currently running 10th. Nearing the back end of a fuel window here. These drivers should have about a 50 to 55 lap, well, they should be coming in between lap 50 and lap 55. Doesn't look like anybody's been really saving anything, and at this point, tires are what you've got. Green flag so far for 45 laps here at Kansas. And it looks like Brandon Thomas and Britt Van Meter just came down pit road about 3 laps ago. They're starting to put down some really quick lap times in comparison to our leader. Last time by, Britt Van Meter ran a 31.40 to our leader's 32.8. So a big difference there, but they are also a lap down. As Jason Harrison's going to come down pit road and take his tires and fuel here. Again, that pit window for fuel just now opening up to go all the way here on one stop. In the meantime, Wes Gilland gonna let Eric Myers go by and Steve Schoaf as well. Those drivers with fairly new tires as well. Now that we're in the fuel window to make it the rest of the way here, it'll be really interesting to see who elects to come down. I imagine we may see Philip Ellis duck down and take advantage of a lap or two of faster tires, and I called it right there. Philip Ellis on pit road, locking those tires up. I sure hope he made a commitment cone there at speed. That's going to give Brad Herman the 4th place spot. And Ryan Pelfrey is going to pick up the 5th place spot there with Ellis pitting. This may drag our leader down. It doesn't actually, no, it's not going to this lap. Richard Lucky's going to stay out. Chris Lucky doesn't appear to be coming down as well. Philip Ellis is going to be the first of the top 5 to come down pit road for the first time today. Brad Herman into the wall and in the infield as he comes across the stripe. Caution's not out. He looks like he was able to save that 85. That car getting way out of shape as he was in the highest spot so far tonight, running 4th. Philip Ellis trying to work his way around this lap traffic here. He is a lap down, so he wants to try and get by. Aaron Jackson getting tight there, moving out of the way. Chris Lucky on pit road. Brad Herman, after making contact with the outside wall and losing the 85 machine, is going to come down pit road as well. Ryan Pelfrey, who has not pit yet, is going to inherit that 3rd place spot. Ellis, who was Not very far back. I would say about 4 or 5 tenths, maybe 6, 7 tenths. I'm not quite sure the actual interval when it happened. No, it had to be a little bit further than that. Came down pit road. He's already got a lap in. And nearly 2 seconds a lap faster than our leader. Richard Lucky on pit road. You see it, the 41 machine is going to come down to take 4 tires and fuel. Ryan Pelfrey at this point, that driver, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, missing the playoffs, or missing the round of 8 by 1 point at the Roval. Going to inherit that second place spot. And our leader, the 12 car, is going to come down pit road for the first time tonight here on lap 52. You see that'll also bring Ryan Pelfrey. Again, he drove his way all the way up to second. Now, he's probably going to cycle out about 9th or 10th here. In the meantime, everybody should be nearly cycled through here. Ellis continuing to knock down lap times. Connor Hill, he may be he is on pit road for an extended length of time there, it felt like. He gets that car rolling as Ellis just coming across the stripe. He's going to pass Hill. At least he may get there. I don't know. Hill may be able to stay out in front of him. Nope. There it is. Ellis is going to be Scourger leader. Hill's going to duck in. Ellis, with that early pit strategy, called it right on the nose, seeing him come down early. And that's going to give him the lead here. He does have to save those tires. He pit on the edge of that fuel window, and if we go green the whole way here, people are going to have about a 5-lap advantage. As Connor Hill has set the pace so far tonight. However, Philip Ellis is 2.8 seconds out front. Eric Myers here on the outside of Connor Hill. Eric pit about 16, 17 laps ago. You see Hill's able to get by him there. That's going to give Ellis a little bit longer to break away. 2.95 seconds now out front as Chris Lucky is now in pursuit of Eric Myers as he'll fall through the field. Those tires certainly going to pay the price here. Richard Lucky trying to get around the 1 machine. Oh, and the 1 car is going to move up and hold up Lucky just a little bit. That's John Sears. Richard Lucky currently running 5th. Now the pursuit oh, Gregory Valade made a right-hand turn onto the track. I believe that was Valade. Yeah, and I imagine we're going to see a penalty for that as Valade entered the track. Oh, he was just down low. Producer John telling me he did not come down pit road. That just looked weird. Nonetheless, taking a look here. Out front, Philip Ellis, 2.6 seconds out in front of Connor Hill. Connor working down that gap. Very quiet night so far, but Britt Van Meter, another driver who pit very early at the very edge of that fuel window along with Brandon Thomas. They're currently running 6th and 7th. Jason Harrison's going to run 8th right now. Ryan Pelfrey 9th. Steve Schoaf is in the top 10 as you see actually Brad Herman work his way around him. A driver who we've talked about, again, needs a solid finish tonight. That pit stop did him no favors. Aaron Jackson currently running 12th. We'll take this opportunity to reset 60 laps into a 100 lap event. You're watching the Sim Racing News Network's broadcast of Ohio Sim Racing's round of 8, race 1. We're here at Kansas Motor Speedway. I'm Sean Fitz alongside producer John Long, bringing you the lap-to-lap action so far here tonight, caution-free. And Philip Ellis, your leader, but Connor Hill on a quick rundown, 1.7 seconds, that gap behind our leader, Philip Ellis. A little bit of tangled up here as Van Meter out front of Brad Herman. Here comes Aaron Jackson. Kyle Finlayson's there as well. Aaron gets a really big drive through the middle of the corner there. He's going to pick up 2 spots, I believe. Should be able to get clear of Britt Van Meter, and he does. Aaron Jackson's up to 9th now. We were talking about him just 2 laps ago, and he was running 12th. I believe we've seen that may have been Finlayson or Van Meter got into the wall there. As you see Brandon Thomas starting to look left underneath Van Meter, thinks better of it, tucks back in. And Brett really running that high line. These 2 drivers right here of Thomas and Van Meter pit on the very edge of our fuel window tonight. And without the caution, that gamble doesn't look like to be paying off for those 2 drivers. Connor Hill, he is flat run Ellis down tonight. Back down to 0.6 of a second after a 2.9 second gap. Around lap 54, so just, just under 10 laps here. He's ran our leader down by about 2 seconds and quickly continuing to chop away at that lead, now half a second. And Richard Lucky running 3rd here after fighting Connor Hill early in the race. It's right on board. It looks like the pit crew really hasn't had an opportunity to hammer down that right front too much. Only one stop so far tonight. That was a green flag stop. We have had no cautions so far as Hill now to the bumper of Ellis, our leader. Ellis came down pit road, I would say about 10 laps. It was about 6 or 7 laps here. In front of the rest of the field. That gave him the lead. But Connor Hill has those 7-lap fresher tires. And he's right there on the bumper of Ellis. Going to look to the left, gets a great drive down the front stretch. Connor Hill, even with Philip Ellis here. Ellis is going to have that faster line, but Connor may be able to get clear of him. Not this time. They're side by side. It's a drag race down the backstretch. Connor driving it into the corner pretty strongly there. He's able to make it stick on those fresher tires. He's going to get by Philip Ellis, new leader on lap 67. Connor Hill. Looking at lap times behind him, it doesn't look like Ellis is out of the woods just yet. Lucky was running about 2.5 tenths faster that last lap. As Ellis, these 2 drivers again fighting for a spot at the top or the championship 4 here. One driver is going to point their way in if we do not see anybody, or if we don't see a playoff driver bring home the win tonight. Lucky's going to look high there and going to get by. Ellis is going to fall to 3rd as he lets a lap down car, a Britt Van Meter, go by. This crew can't really seem to stay away from each other. Now led by Aaron Jackson running 7th. That's Kyle Finlayson in 8th. Jason Harrison 9th. Brad Herman is going to be rounding out the top 10 so far in that 85 machine. If you get an opportunity, head on over to Twitch and do a search for Brad Herman. Herman 85. Give him a follow over there. I did so before the broadcast tonight. Told him we'd be talking about him here, and so far holding his own here at Kansas. You see Brandon Thomas, that 27 machine that 21 machine just motoring by. Brandon, I believe, came down pit road again. He was 2 laps down. He's working his way back to 1 lap down. Since getting by Philip Ellis, Connor Hill has set out sail. 2.2 seconds now on Richard Lucky, as Philip Ellis has fallen all the way back to 4th. Those tires essentially burned up on that 09 Toyota Supra of Ellis. Ryan Pelfrey having a quiet night tonight, currently running 5th. That driver, as I mentioned earlier, just running for wins here at this point after missing the playoffs by 1 point. He was the heartbreak story of last week at the Roval. That driver here just looking to boost his spirits with a solid finish tonight, currently running 5th. Looking all over the racetrack here, everybody's pretty much single filed out and on lap 72. Right on board. Philip Ellis for a lap around Kansas here. As I say that, Aaron Jackson working by the 98 of Eric Myers underneath him. Myers has got to hold his own up there. That real estate's going to get real tight. Aaron Jackson getting tight as well, and Myers makes contact with the wall. Finlayson's going to take advantage of that and get by as well. Aaron Jackson moving up to 6th as he got snug over driving the corner a little bit there underneath Myers. Now, one of the drivers we'll want to pay close attention to as the laps continue to wind down here is Philip Ellis. Currently running 4th. I would say of the top 10, let me take a look here. Of the top 10, he is the driver. Should I take that back? I don't think Eric Myers can make it the whole way. I'm almost certain of that. In the meantime, Ellis is one of the first on down pit road. He's got 27 laps on those tires. We got 24 to go. He is going to be right on the edge of that fuel window for these drivers tonight. That'll be something worth keeping a thought of as we continue to tick laps down here. Connor Hill, he's your leader right now after 76 laps, 3.1 seconds out front of Richard Lucky. You're watching the SRN. Back here on lap 81, and we were talking about it a little while ago. Philip Ellis, one of the first drivers to come down pit road in the top 5, trying to take advantage of that tire differential, and well, that may have been a very risky maneuver. It's right on board with Ellis. Riding the bottom of the racetrack here. And you hear that. Dead silence in that '09 machine. That is going to be Philip Ellis trying to save enough fuel to make it to the end here tonight. Another driver that we want to start looking at, even though he's 2 laps, he pitted 2 laps later, is Chris Lucky. He should be okay. However, Richard Lucky only pit, Richard Lucky pit 4 laps after, so he should be good. Ellis trying to save a little bit of gas in that '09 machine to make it. Currently running 4th. Let's take a look here at our point standings and who else could be at risk, as we're about 17 laps to go here at Kansas. Wes Gilland also pit about 35 laps ago. But I think he's in a different situation. Ellis running on the high side here at Kansas. Certainly not taking the short way around this racetrack. On the throttle, pretty much non-stop around this place. Could be at risk of running out. We were talking about it last week. We firmly expected him and Richard Lucky to win their way into the round of 4. That is obviously at jeopardy here now, with Connor Hill out front 4 seconds over Richard Lucky and Philip Ellis in fuel conservation mode. In the meantime, Aaron Jackson right behind Ryan Pelfrey for 6th. Aaron should have enough fuel to make it all the way. Let's take a look here, as I'm hearing he's got 4 to the good. And he came down 33 laps ago. Yeah, it looks like Ellis, just doing some quick back of the napkin math, is going to be maybe too short here. You heard him while we were riding on board, kicking that clutch in, shutting that car off on each corner entry. No pressure out back. He just needs a solid finish here. Connor Hill, as we spoke about earlier in the broadcast, brought home the victory there at the Roval on Monday night in the trucks. I would say firmly stomped the field there. You hear Ellis cut the throttle once again. Trying to get clarification here. Things have been so crazy here at the SRN. I know Hell won at the Roval in grand fashion here. JJ Jensen running or winning the Monday night truck race here at Kansas. Not in the field tonight. Laps continue to tick down here. Just about 10.5 to go. Nobody looks to have anything really for Connor Hale, but it looks like Chris Lucky is quickly gaining time on Richard Lucky here. That gap now down to 9/10 as Chris works on the outside of Gillen. Gillen's going to lift and let him go by on the outside of turn 1. It's right on board with Ellis. See if he's still shutting that car down on the corner entrance. He sure is. You're hearing that full conservation mode in that Supra of Ellis, trying to hang on to 4th here and save as much as he can. We'll know in about 3 laps if he's got enough to make it the whole way. And Chris Lucky continuing to hunt down Richard Lucky. That gap now down to under 2/10 as they're about 2 car lengths away here. Richard, I just don't think, has been very happy with the handling of that 41 machine. Winning double-digit races so far this season, and then last week just having an off week, making a mistake that I wouldn't expect to see out of him. And then tonight looks like he made a little bit of contact with the wall, got the right front out of shape. That car looks like it has been tight all night long, and there you see it. Chris Lucky able to get by. And a crossover move here as Richard looks underneath him on the exit of turn 4. Brothers running side by side. As Chris looking underneath Richard. That car wiggled just a little bit, but he's able to maintain. At the door, they're even on their way into turn 3. This is for 2nd place. As it looks like Lucky is fastest on this end of the racetrack towards 1 and 2. Or I'm sorry, yeah, Chris is fastest during through 3 and 4 rather. And then Richard really gets a great drive through 1 and 2. Right here you see another crossover move. But Lucky this time in a good spot. He's going to take advantage of that longer way around to keep the RPMs in it. He's going to get clear of Richard Lucky once and for all here on lap 95. All he's got to do is hold off the brother there for 5 more laps and bring home a 2nd place finish. In the meantime, this is going to let Connor Hale get out to a 6-second lead over the rest of the field. As I mentioned, Hale incredibly quick here. Winning last week by, oh goodness, I think it was about 34 seconds. Not quite that gap. But nonetheless, showing he's got speed at these ovals here. As Richard starts to fall back behind Chris. Nearly 3/10 a lap here. 4 laps to go at Kansas. And just to show you how tight this playoff battle is going to be as we come down the stretch. Richard Lucky, Phillip Ellis, Aaron Jackson, Kyle Finlayson, Wes Gilland, I believe Harrison as well. What's that? 5 of the top 10 playoff contenders. Sorry, it's not Harrison who's in the playoff picture there. Either way, it's, I believe, 4 or 5 drivers still up front. Two to go here in Kansas. This is going to be your closest fight right here between Chris and Richard Lucky. As you see, Gilliland back there goes a lap down. Ellis looks like he may, he's going to have some pressure here by Ryan Pelfrey in the closing laps. Did Ellis save enough? Let's ride on board. At this point, you've just got to full send it and hope you've got enough. And white flag is out here in Kansas. 1 lap to go. Connor Hale won at the road course. Now he's going to tell or show everybody you can do it, making left turns as well. 2 for 2 in Xfinity action. He's your winner tonight here at Kansas. As everybody brings him down the cool down lap, I'm going to say I think Ellis had just enough to make it around. Britt Van Meter, he's slow on the apron. I hear he is out of fuel as well. 100 laps of caution-free action here at Kansas. Connor Hill, your winner tonight. He's getting ready to burn it down here across the stripe. Take a look at the results there. Hill first car, Chris Lucky second, Richard Lucky third, Ryan Pelfrey, Philip Ellis rounding out the top 5. Looks like Ryan was able to sneak by Ellis there in the last moment. Aaron Jackson bringing home 6th place tonight. Kyle Finlayson, Brad Herman, Jason Harrison, Wes Gillen rounding out the top 10. As the rest of the field cycles through there, we're going to get ready for a little bit of post-race coverage right here on the SRN in just a moment. As I mentioned, 50 laps of caution-free racing. I'm sorry, 100 laps of caution-free racing in the books here at Kansas as the round of 8. The playoffs continue for OSR right here on the SRN. Another opportunity for a driver to point in, and we were talking about it last week. 3rd place, Richard Lucky. We expected you to be pretty strong here tonight. Looks like you had a little bit of right front damage on that car. Did that affect anything in the grand scheme of things, or were you just off a little bit here at Kansas?
No, actually, it felt really good, and I was running behind Connor Hale there, and I ran some practice laps here by myself last week or earlier this week, and ran the bottom the whole time, so it kind of surprised me when I found out the groove was going to be up top. So it was an adjustment. I was just following Connor and trying to learn, and then after I got around him, I just caught the fence, and then it just killed it. So it just made it too tight through the center, and I had to back off the throttle a little bit to try to let it turn, and I just lost all my speed then.
And Richard, I know coming over to Texas, another track that I feel like is going to kind of play into your favor a little bit there. Do you feel like you've got some decent pace there in the coming weeks, or are you just going to take it as it comes and see what happens?
Well, I feel like I've been a little off here lately. I've gone 5 or 6 weeks without a win and just really been struggling and making a lot of mistakes. Feel like I'm good at Texas. I'm going to show up to Texas and hopefully be hard to beat there. I do just want to throw a little shout out to Connor Hale. He won last week and won this week, so he's the real deal. He's real fast, and When I was behind him there, he started to have connection issues for about 4 or 5 laps. And as soon as I got on the radio and kind of said, "Hey, Connor, you're blinking in and out real bad," he did the sportsmanship thing and kind of just pulled over and let me have it. So I just want to show or say thanks to him for that.
You heard it from the man himself, the humblest guy in all of OSR. Richard Luckey's going to bring home third tonight here at Kansas.
Thanks, guys.
Going to quickly move over to Chris Luckey, able to make that pass on brother Richard there in the closing laps, bring home that second place finish. Chris, that had to feel pretty solid after the season thus far that you've had, being able to get by Richard there.
Oh yeah, he's got a lot of wins. He's fast, and he made me earn that second place. But really, I mean, Connor, Richard, and Phil were the 3 fastest all night. But Richard hit the wall, Phil hit the wall, Connor had a pretty clean race, and they were all 3 fast. I wasn't very fast in practice, didn't get a whole lot of practice, wasn't fast in qualifying. And can't believe I finished second, and I really don't like this track neither. So just kind of rode around all night and stayed out of trouble.
Chris, I know you had some pretty decent pace there at the end, and I know Richard was fighting maybe a little bit more of a tighter race car. Did you plan to save after the pit stops there, or was that just the nature of just the pace here at Kansas?
No, me and Richard shared some tire information there in the second run, and I had a lot of tire left after the first run. So I wound my brakes as far forward as I could get them, a 6% increase, and started running it a whole lot harder. And I was much faster in that second run throughout the entire run than I was in the first run. So you couple that with the damage Richard had, and it was just enough to finish second.
Chris Luckey bringing home second place tonight here at Kansas with OSR.
John Fitz, thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Going to wrap up coverage here. And Connor Hale, I know we've not gotten to speak to you the last 2 weeks in a row. We appreciate you showing up here and dominating each and every week. If you ever get an opportunity, make sure you jump in the Discord. We'd love to speak with you. On behalf of producer John Long, I'm Sean Fitz. We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Again, we're in the long run here, just a couple weeks out from crowning a champion with Ohio Sim Racing. Next week, Texas on the radar, both in trucks and Xfinity. Who's going to bring home the cowboy hat and the 6-shooters? You're going to find out starting Monday night at 9 Eastern. Again, on behalf of John Long, and I'm Sean Fitz. We will see you next Monday night for more playoff OSR action right here on the SRN. Good night, everybody.
While I'm pledging my allegiance to a flag that's upside down.